What does this suddenly divided left flank in the Democratic Party mean for the 2020 contest?
I mean, I think what it does is just bring kind of out into the open what has been a simmering, or depending on how you want to look at it, very chilly sort of dynamic between the two of them for some time. I mean, they are competing in many ways for the same slice of the Democratic primary electorate, and we're getting now toward the voting contest where the primaries get underway in earnest, and they're really grappling. And I do think that the way that they behave and the way that this exchange played out is going to affect people's voters, views of them, whether that for good or for ill. And it's also fascinating that they now are going to be in the Senate chamber for hours on end, just feet away from each other, and having to not only miss their campaign FaceTime, but also deal with each other in very close proximity. And that will play out also probably in the halls of the Capitol in the next few weeks.
I was definitely looking yesterday when they were getting sworn
Yeah,
in
we're all
to
looking for the
see
body language.
what's the body language going on there.
What was the body language?
I couldn't see anything.
You could see a few things.
I couldn't see any body language. They were stiff. They weren't looking at each other.
They're impartial jurors.
Well, Senator Sanders was asked, I think it was today, have you spoken to Senator Warren since then? And he said, nope. And he kind of walked away from the camera. And so
It's better than I got the day before, which was, I don't want to talk about it. Just no answer whatsoever. And I think Elizabeth Warren's also said, this is the last I've said of this. So you can see how they're sort of, I think they both realized this moment didn't look great for either of them.
Dan, what's your thought on this moment, the Sanders-Warren interaction? This debate, 2020, seems to, for months, have been about Medicare for all, debates over health care. Now it's intensely personal.
It is, and I totally agree with Julie that this was a collision destined to happen. They're basically fishing in the same pond for a lot of voters, not entirely, but for a lot of voters. They share many of the same views of what's wrong with the system. They have some different prescriptions on how to fix it, but they have a similar worldview about a rigged system or the influence of money. And it's not likely that the finalists for the Democratic nomination, I won't say that definitely, but are going to be the two most liberal candidates in the race. And so in one way or another, both in Iowa and New Hampshire, they are competing very much against each other.